Alright, welcome back everybody. Sadly, no more Ryu. It's over. Back to the good old Yakumo. But nice to be back. This time they're showing some boss fights. And I was a little late on this one because it was barely anything new in this, and I had some concerning thoughts about bosses in Ninja Gaiden 2. So I wanted to actually make a video that was not just Ninja Gaiden 2, it's just Ninja Gaiden as a franchise. I will not be speaking on behalf of Ninja Gaiden 1, any of its editions, because I have not finished that game. Um, it's a little too old school for me. It's hard for me to play it through. So I usually sit down with my friends and play it. But anything I say, it's not on behalf of Ninja Gaiden 1 at all. It's just 2 and 3, most of editions of 2. So, other than that, we're just going to go through this clip. I'm going to talk about some stuff, and I'm going to switch over to how can Team Ninja slash Platinum finally do good boss battles in Ninja Gaiden. First and foremost, Divine Dragon Order, DDO, as the here, commander, also known as the Fearless Master Swordsman, the rare soldier of the DDO who has honed their martial arts skills, arts here, mastery. The commander stands above the elite of their peers and will be difficult to face. Okay, well, it's your first enemy, so they're gonna hype him up. Thankfully, he's humanoid-ish type. He's kind of big, but yeah, for the most part, he's human height. All right. Watch this. I'm not gonna say anything on first playthrough. That's pretty much it. It was like really short. Couple. He looks cool. I'm not gonna deny that. It definitely looks like the guy that's gonna that orders the dragon, dragon order. Concerning thoughts, right? Very concerning thoughts, right? But let's do the classic slow down. Get the video. I'm guessing that's forward square. It goes in semi-perfect block. And that's a very interesting thing, right? This is a really cool thing. So after the block, Yakima goes to like attack, but then it's like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna activate my Blood Dragon and just deactivate it. I guess it didn't want to stun him yet. So Bo does his attack. He does his unblockable that you're supposed to interrupt with your Blood Raven attacks. Also grappling points. There's at least 4 of them on this stage. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 6. But yeah, 4 on each side. There might be 2 on the top. Yeah. Raven hits him. He gets staggered. And then Izuna drop. Not Izuna drop. Sorry. Flying Divine Swallow gets blocked. All 3 of them. Divine Raven might be the name of his version of it because I know Swallow is for you. Yeah. Blocks 3 times. Then again, it is Flying Swallow technically. Bosses tend to not care about this move ever since Ninja Gaiden 1. They either don't react to it or just straight up counter it or block it or perfect parry it or stagger you out of it or hit you out of it. Yeah, they don't like that move. But yeah, the perfect dodge, and I have a thing against this. Thankfully, there's a slowdown. I don't like my perfect dodge having a different animation than my normal dodge. And this does. Ryu has it too. But instead of the slide, apparently, which still exists, the slides is still there because we see it in the second trailer after Ryu does his little raging divine swallow, as I call it. I might bring it up later, but you can slide perfect dodge, and you also have this where you jump in perfect dodge. We saw Ryu do it. We saw Yakumo do a backwards version of it, as someone brought up in my comments since I completely forgot about it. And now this is a forward hop. It is a dodge, but it's different from the slide. I don't know if your dodges change based on if you're locked on or something, because we don't have HUD. I don't know if he's locked on or not. So I, I have a little thing against that, but hopefully the timing for it is the same. It's just a different animation. So like if you slide, hypothetically, your slide takes 2 feet, like it covers 2 feet distance in the span of like 45 frames. If the hop has the same data, 2 feet over 45 frames, then I'm fine with it. I don't care if the animation's different because it's the consistency still there in the sense of like I'm doing the press of the button, but I'm also getting the same result no matter how it looks. So if that's the case, that's fine. I know the back hop is completely different because half across the screen. Um, the back hop iframe that we saw Yakima doing in one of the clips also is a thing Genshin does a lot. Ryu does in 3 when you get him with the UT or a steel on bone. They always backdash. It's that backdash. We have access to that backdash as a player. We are finally becoming boss tier. But yeah, just to go through it again, this seems like a forward, not tap forward. This is a hold forward square most likely. Block, attack, cancel, cancel again. Normal square does nothing. He goes for his attack. Wide coverage. You can completely dodge onto that shit. Look, that's a perfect dodge practically. See, the slide is still there. You have a perfect and okay. Now I know he's locked on because you can't slide like this normally. So this is sliding around the enemy. So this is definitely a lockdown mechanic. Hits it with hits the Raven after the fact. I don't think it matters. So his aura is. It looks like he has an aura around him, but it's not the same aura as this. It's not the darkened aura, the red attack, right? The aura just fades away. But maybe because he perfect dodge, he can still interrupt it. There's no glass shatter, so I don't know if that was the correct way to do it, or if it still counts on this. You have to hit him with the Raven attack while they're still like this before their attack goes out. Maybe after the attack goes out, the Blood Raven doesn't matter anymore. So if he's talking steel on bone mechanics from 3, you know, and if they whiff their attack, you can still steel on bone them. You don't have to necessarily hit them right as their attack is starting. Might be the same rule here, but I don't know. I need a HUD and I need the hands-on on the game to be able to narrow down those specifics. Flying Swallow gets blocked, and then blocked one more time. And he's like, okay, parrying your last one, and I'm going to go into this because you attacked me so much, so now it's my turn. And different perfect dodge this time, right? Still blocking. They do have a continuation after, but he just. It looks like the commander dashed after his attack and then committed to nothing. So this randomness I despise in Ninja Gaiden most of the time. The enemies decide to just cancel the shit left and right, especially bosses. But I'm not gonna speak on behalf of 4. I don't know what they're gonna do. So now, this is pretty much it. The clip barely has anything to show. It's just finally we get to see both dodge versions in the same clip. I guess that's the thing. There's a third one, which is the back hop, but I'm pretty sure it's just the same input, which I don't know what the input could possibly be. I hope it's not 2 button presses because that for repositioning perfect. If you want to perfectly time something, putting it on 2 button is the worst idea, especially on D-pads and stuff because we all know how hard it is to sometimes simultaneously press something depending on the buffer frames. Doing Judgment with Sin Dante is one of them. It's so hard to get that move out sometimes, even timing imperfect. Anyway, so now I'm going to move on. Very interesting topic when it comes to Ninja Gaiden. I'll play a couple of clips for you guys. That's after the fact. So this happened yesterday. I was just going through my Master Ninja again because my trophy didn't pop up and my costume didn't pop up, so I had to play Master Ninja on 2 all over again. And I know this is not the most effective thing, but I just wanted to get through it fast. Now watch this shit real quick. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? What do you possibly say to this interaction? And before someone says, "Yeah, I know what I did wrong here. I was too far away from it," but why is Marbus tracking the whole time? Why is he spinning around me so much? Why is he doesn't just pick a point to go to? Like, see, there's so many things that the boss is not supposed to do, but they're still doing. Completely ignoring the fact that a boss grab with that many utilities of perfect tracking, perfect coverage, infinite distance, infinite damage, it one shot. It does everything, right? Nice cheeks, asshole. But yeah, Like a boss should not have that many properties in one move. This it feels like this Ninja Gaiden 2 was made by like Tekken 8 developers. Like a move has everything in it. It guard breaks you, it grabs you, it kills you in one hit, it tracks you nonstop, it covers so much distance. Like it's so much nonsense. And then on top of all that, you have everybody's favorite boss in 2, Sidonius. Now watch this. I'm perfectly timing everything, trying to not take risks with him because he's an absolute asshole. So he, yeah, yeah, right. Like this is a when he does the fireballs, you're supposed to flying swallow into them to cancel the fireballs, which I did, and I got out. He did his kick into the flame. And I was like, okay, going behind the leg because it has active frames a little bit. Count the frames. Count the frames that fire was active after the fucking flames were gone. What in the hell? And why did it do so much damage? I know it's Master Ninja, but I don't think a boss should hit you for half your HP. Unless it's their final move or super move, something like that. Like if the laser did that to me, I'll be like, okay, fine. If his grab did that to me, which it does more, it takes away 90% of your health if you're full. And aside the fact that these bosses are absolute failures of design, they get minions in them too. There's minions in a boss fight, which is the very first sign of a failure of concept, in my opinion. If you made a boss fight and they're not threatening enough, and so you have to throw in minions in there to make it harder, you failed. The concept of your boss failed already. It shattered right there as it is. And these are not bold claims. I'm not trying to say there's a shit on the game. Um, peek right here. You can't range them, right? They don't want you ranging, especially DMC2 was a shooter practically. Attacks. Look, he attacked. He attacked, and now he's open to take damage. And when he's done taking damage, right? When he's done, oh, this is a stream I went. When Virgil is done taking damage, gosh, that went back so much. Virgil's done taking damage. He flinches differently. It's visually telling the player, hey, enough. Be careful if you want to keep mashing. Because, boom. Be parried, and now you gotta deal with this shit. I think I'm playing on normal, so yeah, this is with new playthroughs. Yeah, it's normal. Super armor, right? But it ends. He has super armor, but it ends, and depending on how much damage you do to him, you can knock him out of it faster. This is the strat. Helmbreaker is the only thing you can hit him with safely without taking damage, right? He's out, but he's doing his flinch that he can't retaliate. So if you attack him, he retaliates. You see how the camera zooms back out when Virgil teleports somewhere far? Watch this. See? Handouts. So it's rallying. By the way, for all the people that claimed Ninja Gaiden 2 is the best game ever made, the best hack and slash, when did this shit come out? June 3rd, 2008, right? DMC3 existed 3 years prior. Devil May Cry 3 existed 3 years prior to this. And I still got to deal with a dog shit camera that does this shit. And this is a port that came out 20 years later. Right? That's what we're dealing with. So 3 years later, DMC3 existed, and not only that, DMC4 existed, and this game was 40% complete. And I don't have to talk about how brilliant the camera is in 4. I'll argue one of the best hack and slash cameras, despite it having fixed angles still. I would argue it's better than 5 because 5 just like eats shit sometimes. DMC5's camera is sometimes horrible if the action's too fast, and you do have turbo mode in special editions. So camera will go out fast, but yeah, the time frame of these games absolutely annoys me because you had so many games. God of War existed for fuck's sake, and they're not even a Japanese studio. Like usually when you look at hack and slash games, you like, yeah, Japan knows what to do best. There's a little bit of elitism there towards Japan doing this stuff because they're so good at it. But God of War existed. God of War 1 exists. I think 2 even existed. I think 2 came out 2007. Those games have, you don't even have camera control in those. You actually do not have camera control in God of War games. It's fixed camera angles all the time. You use your R to roll around. But yeah, so to bottom line it, this is not a hate, this is not a negative thing. This is me trying to point out all the stuff they could do to not make this painful. Now, thankfully, free camera already good, right? Free camera already good, right? And you already have reposition tools here, which is the grapple points. The grapple points are there to give you a vantage point of you getting better view of the battlefield, right? Plus, Yakumo has that move, the pull arm stance, I'm gonna call it. We're just gonna go straight to Wukong. I have not played that game. Where he stands on his blade, like high up, to actually he creates a vantage point for himself, just in case he doesn't have the grapple points, right? You already have repositioned, and you see how brilliant the tracking is for the camera. How amazing this is. So for people that say this game looks bad and it's not as good as the other ones, there are people like that. I don't know what you're smoking, but start selling it because you're gonna make money off of it. Don't do drugs. Cameras are brilliant, and look. Immediate reposition of the camera because he dashed and distance changed. These are 100% because of Platinum. Because Platinum is mostly made out of ex Capcom employees, and the ex Capcom employees made these. They worked on these games. So the reason why the camera is so good is because the tech that has been developed has been carried over by the people that moved to Platinum. I don't know if those people are still there. I don't know about the employment status of the Platinum employees anymore. But yeah, even Neo's camera is dog shit. Camera is great in this game, and there is back and forth interaction. So in this mother trucker, this piece absolute garbage ass boss fight, he's blocking his ass cheeks with his face. Like, what in the hell is this shit? What is this interaction? Which was after an attack, by the way. He attacked. He cancels his recovery animations into a perfect block that goes into a super armor grab. Thankfully, his doesn't have tracking or distance. His tracking is bad, but not the worst. But thankfully, he doesn't have a distance. No recovery, goes into blocking, but thankfully, Rise to Heaven actually hits a lot, so it interrupts him sometimes. And for some reason, Sidonius decides to throw fireballs at a 5 feet range, which is a long range attack, which he does 4 of, which is near impossible to dodge unless you specifically know the timing for it. And if you're too close, the timing doesn't matter. He hits you and juggles you, right? I whiffed it. He perfect parried it. I didn't whiff it. He whiffed. Now I'm attacking him and doing damage. He did his attack, which would annihilate me if it hits me. He whiffs it. I do my attacks. Why in the hell was I using these weapons? Oh yeah, because I didn't have blade. Then he goes into super armor. You see, I'm getting messed up. But then I counteracted it. I counteracted his super armor by activating my own super armor mode and getting out of damage. None of that shit you can do here because Nimpo does not activate if you're mashing it and if you're holding block. Which if you don't hold block, you can't perfect guard in this game. In the sense of you can guard to cancel out your recovery frame to guard again when your guard gets broken, right? But if you're doing that, you can't mash an input to give yourself iframes because the input doesn't register. So you can't do stuff like that in this game. You have to let go of block, which risks you getting hit, which doesn't matter. This click. Fuck off. Why did it hit me? Why does it have so much active frame? Rule of thumb, Platinum and Team Ninja. Rule of thumb. Whenever there's an explosion with a blast radius, you tend to make the effects bigger. The visual effects bigger than the actual hurt box. So if the player's arm gets nicked because it's slightly touching the visual effects, they don't die, right? That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is you make the timing of the active frames of the visual effects less than the visual effects. So the attack's active frames run out before the visual effects run out. Not The attack frames last 2 seconds after the visual effects have run out. I died because Ryu had a heat stroke. I didn't drink my cool drinks, I guess. Ryu legit had a heat stroke. He just died. There's nothing happened. He just said, that's it, right? So shit boss design. Ninja Gaiden has arguably had the weakest boss design in any hack and slash games. Again, I don't speak in terms of one. I have not finished one. I will not say any opinions piece on it or facts. Nothing. Nothing. I have no opinions or no statement on one. I have not played Ninja Gaiden 1. That's it. But 2 and 3, 3 is a little bit better, but the game as a whole has flaws. I'd still say it's a better game than 2 on Master Ninja at least, but that is a hot topic I will never bring up again. At least you can be fighting more than 2 seconds. But anyways, any game, like you can name any hack and slash game that's like AAA or even AA tier, and Ninja Gaiden has had the bosses because you either have stuff like this, bosses like this that just don't care about your toolkit. They just do not care about your toolkit. You have to find, and again, I went through these yesterday, so I'm a little steamy still, but I did finish it. I did beat it. And I went back to normal and hard and actually had fun with the game. But the thing with this is, with Ninja Gaiden, when you fight a boss, your first thought, okay, how can I cheese this the fastest possible? What exploit can I do to beat this? You don't go in a boss fight in Ninja Gaiden thinking, I'm gonna parry this guy. I'm gonna perfectly dodge this guy. I'm gonna time my... No. Does Graveyard Spin works? Nope. Alright. Does Flying Swallow work? Nope. Okay. Can I Nimbus? No? Okay. Can I Rise to Heaven? Yeah, cool. Alright, let's do that for 3 minutes and see if I can win and restart 40,000 tries. Because that is the main thing with Ninja Gaiden. You keep trying to find an exploit, and that exploit works, but the boss doesn't want to work with it. So you die, and then you restart, and you die, and then you restart, and you die till you get a good rotation where the boss is not acting out of thing. But then you get something like this where the enemy is reacting and dancing with you. Again, this is normal, so it's not really speaking too much, but you see how beautifully visually delivered this is? Teleports, attacks, whiffs, your turn. Very, 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 very short frame window. You have a second to connect and attack them. Flinch, small flinch, big flinch, stop attacking. Where you do that, you build your thing. Well, again, I'm a DMC expert, so I'm not going to talk too much. And with Virgil 2 specifically, he's like, okay, I'm going to change my tactics because you've already fought Yamato, so we're going to combine my 2 movesets together. I really wish we could do normally, but... And the boss interacts with you. Like, this is... You don't get stuff like this. He legit, because they're both shitters, Virgil teleports out to taunt. He's not doing an attack. He's not doing a move. He's just being a shitter. He's just taunting you. That adds personality into the boss fight. Again, this is a 2005 game. This is legit a 2005 game. If you see DMC5, DMC5 is like, if you do taunts, Dante taunts back with you. If you do SSS taunt, like the dance, Dante dances with you. If you perfectly block, they have dialogue. If you perfectly dodge, they have dialogue. If you clash with them, like if you do summon swords against Virgil summon swords as Dante would against Virgil, Dante has a voice line. It's like, you can't always have it your way. It's like both of them summon sword, and Dante can contest it finally now. It's cool interactions. You don't have any of that. You either have Genshin in Ninja Gaiden 2, where you just lunar drop, use lunar drop with lunar staff, loop, and that's it. That's your boss fight. You completely just juggle him. You can't do anything. Or you have this. It's like, you dodge, doesn't matter. Good luck next time. Try it again. Okay, this time it worked. Why do I keep watching this? It just frustrates me. But yeah, everything I said is stuff that Platinum and I'm sure they have done it. I don't see any. The only concerning thing I saw in this video was this. That is the only concerning thing I see in the video, because that is a piece of your toolkit that's absolutely seems worthless, right? You shouldn't have a tool that's worthless in a fight, especially in a boss fight. Your whole toolkit should be like interact with the boss. Perfect dodge. It interacts with the boss. And guess what? Not only he had one option, he had two options here. If he committed to the Raven attack, he could have shattered his guard. I think. I haven't seen the boss fight. Maybe he needs 2 hits or a charge hit to interrupt. So I'm not gonna say a normal light hit can actually interrupt it, but like the game teaches you up until this point with the other smaller enemies that hey, when they go into this state, you're supposed to attack them with your Blood Raven attacks, and then it disrupts them and shatters them, and you get an opening, right? Hmm. Concerning, very concerning. I didn't pick it up the first time, but he's mid-air in an attack and just deflects your attack. I don't like stuff like that because, and like even you can't do that as a player, right? And this guy is not some like end boss, cheater, super boss, secret boss. This is your first boss, and he's already doing shit that makes no sense. So unless this was an attack on attack clash, which I hope it was, I know this is he's OT and bosses tend UT and bosses tend to not care about UTs either. But in a 13-second minus 10, minus 1, so in 12-second clip, 2 of your strongest moves are useless against the boss already. It is very disheartening to see your legendary move completely get cucked, right? And then your so-called ultimate technique gets cucked. Not only gets cucked, it was mid animation for this guy. He has no business blocking, parrying, or dodging that move. Right? I didn't like this clip, and I didn't want to make a video on it because I saw some stuff I didn't like in Ninja Gaiden as a series. If you want to say it describes it's the identity of the game, of the franchise, that bosses do stuff like that, cool. You can sit on that opinion and cope on it as much as you want. But every game that comes out follows game development follows a law for player and for bosses. Again, unless there's a super boss, right? Unless it's a final boss, you make cheap shit for stuff like that. So the player actually has an insane challenge to go through that defies the laws of what they've learned up until that point. This doesn't fucking do anything for the game. This doesn't do anything for the interaction because your toolkits. Guess what? Your toolkits shrunk down to. Am I gonna rise to heaven spam? Am I gonna like, I don't know because I will say one thing. I have seen a boss get UT'd. There has been a clip of a boss getting UT'd, and I think you can only ultimate technique these guys after you break this. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's possible. I haven't seen that interaction specifically, but I have seen UT on a boss, and I've seen enemies get shattered. I have not seen the boss get shattered, so I'm not gonna say that's a fact. But again, rule of thumb: the normal enemies when they glow like this, when they glow black, they have the red. I call it red attacks. When you hit them with the Raven, they break. Right? That's their thing. So I don't want to ramble on too much on this because I don't want to cover negative content. But again, people can't like legitimately cannot fight me on this because it's not an opinion. It's people, even people that are like fans of the franchise. They know the bosses in Ninja Gaiden. Again, 2 and 3. I'm not speaking on behalf of one. They're the weakest part of the game because they're either super easy or super tedious, and you never want to do the fights. You just want to get them over with. I get on DMC. The only thing I want to do is fight this motherfucker, bro. It's so fun. I don't even know what I did there, but it's so. Oh yeah, I styled on him and I did this again. But yeah, it's like, can I find missions? But I legendary cutscene first of all, like whatever. But this build up, like imagine if Genshin was like this. It's like the first time Genshin is just using the sword, the Archman blade on you, and you just tussling with him. He's taking it easy on you and stuff like that, just because he got what he wanted, shit like that, whatever. And then he gets progressively harder, which he does, but only he's in his final interaction where he completely changes how he fights, and he turns into another like, yeah, I'm just a cheap what works, what doesn't. I didn't record it or upload that thing, but when I was fighting Genshin last night on Master Ninja, I know the loop with him. I tried to do the loop, and every time he attacked, and I dodged out in perfect frames and everything. I dodged out, get ready to attack him. As soon as my attack is about to connect to him, he teleports, and he did that 24 times in a row. Not in different sequences. He attacked me. I dodge. I attack. He teleports. I dodge. He attacks. I go to attack. He teleports. He did it 24 times. It got to a point where I actually got tired. I mentally got tired. I was like, this is just this is boring. And I know it's Master Ninja, but bosses shouldn't act like that. Give him a shit ton of health, but let me attack them. Don't give him like no health, all the damage, and I can't hit him. Knock knock, Elizabeth. Oh yeah, Virgil's hair falls on because it's raining. It's like, bro, this is a 2005 game. Itagaki had nerves to say Ninja Gaiden 2 is the greatest action game on the market. It's like, I can't fucking comprehend that shit. 40% complete game, massive dump. And I'm not. This is not a hate on Ninja Gaiden. It's just the boss fight. This is just a boss fight. I'm arguably comparing the best boss fights in hack and slashers to the worst boss fights, so it's not fair. But even Bayonetta, like the best fights in Bayonetta are like Baldur. In both games, funny enough. In 3, most of them are good. They're really inactive. The only thing annoying in Bayonetta 3 is the stupid the mini games they force you to do after and before boss fights. But anyways, um, I hope there's more interactions. The fact that there's perfect parries and perfect dodges already adds a mountain of new mechanics you can mess around with boss fights compared to these fuckers. Like, what do I do here? I was dodging too. But I just don't know how to time the final hit of it because he's doing Ring Around the Roses around my head like he's a fucking angel. But yeah, it's like if they can get this one portion of this game down, this bosses, which I think is too late right now to give opinion pieces on this, but perfect blocks, good. They're fantastic. And also, if you think like parrying is gonna be OP'd, parry this filthy casual. That's gonna break your guard and fuck you up, and they most likely have follow-up attacks after that, right? And then you have perfect dodges and perfect blocks to interact with all this shit. You do perfect dodges when it's unblockable if you couldn't do anything about it. In this case, he can do something about it. He just cancels it for some reason. Probably because they don't want to show it off. They want the player to discover it, right? But yeah. Um, Nimpo is also another thing. I don't like the fact that bosses sometimes decides like, hey, I'm gonna block your Nimpo, or I'm gonna perfectly dodge the Nimpo, or it's like if I can name a boss fight everybody has tried to Nimpo because it's just they just had enough to deal with was Elixir in 2. Not fun fights, not a fun fights. But then every time you try to Nimpo him, he goes into his tornado thing, which doesn't make sense because if I'm hitting you with a black fucking hole, you spinning very fast shouldn't get affected by that. But whatever. I guess because he makes a magnetic field with lightning, whatever. But black hole is literally space and time, doesn't exist in that shit. So whatever you do should be null. Whatever. Get into semantics. So for the most part, I really do hope they nail the bosses because besides that, the only other weak thing in Ninja Gaiden is the level design. Ever since 1, this is the only time I'm going to speak on behalf of 1 because 1's level design was fantastic. I'm just going to put up footage. 1's level design was fantastic. You could backtrack, you could do all that, and I know a lot of casual players don't like backtracking. I've seen a lot of people hate on DMC3 because you have to backtrack in the tower like 2 times. Like, ooh, horrible. And with 4 is justified because you practically backtrack 3 times to every area, so whatever. Like that one I get. I think this is a perfect video actually. Can he interrupt him? No, he doesn't. Yeah, no, he doesn't. Even this guy is like a tier 2 enemy, and even he's like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that flying swallow dog. Yeah, I think he blocked both times. No, I think Yakumo got hit the first time, but just armored through it or something. Yeah, but yeah, there's at least there's not everybody can not everybody can ignore Yakumo does. Anyways, let's watch some good stuff. Talking about the rest of the shit. Oh, one thing I forgot to notice. To mention Old man statue. There's a Huramasa statue in the back. I forgot to mention that, but thankfully someone in my comments mentioned it, and I think one of my other friends also mentioned it later because they saw it on Reddit. But yeah, it's like I cannot wait for this game. Every time I play Ninja, oh my god! You know, in one of my videos, I actually said, "Hey, I wonder what his perfect block version of this is gonna look like." And I'm so glad I got to see it. This is the like this is the most satisfying move I've seen Ryu do ever since Divine Swallow in 3. And Gleaming Blade is also pretty. I can't obviously top 2. This takes the cake. That's my favorite move to watch now. And you bet your ass when the game drops, that's all I'm gonna be doing. I'm either gonna be perfect blocking into that, I'm gonna perfect dodge into that because that shit just feels fantastic. But yeah, again, I'm not gonna make negative videos on Ninja Gaiden or anything. I don't like covering negative stuff. I like to be positive about this stuff because it's just exciting. It's exciting talking about this, and I'm just happy we got another Ninja Gaiden in 13 years. I just want it to be better. I really want it to be better. And bosses are the weakest part of it, so it's easily improve on it. And they already have. Just by having indirect mechanics like parrying and dodging, so much improvements, right? And then add to the fact that potentially the cameras are also better, so that already makes the whole game better, right? Camera is just fantastically better. Look. I don't have to speak. Nimpo comes out fast, which is great because in 2 you have to if you move your camera in 2, you're doing Nimpo for the next 6 seconds. Like that's annoying. In 3 they made it that you can release it after a short period of time. So it's no improvement upon improvement. This is fantastic. I think I already corrected myself on what happens later in this one, but yeah. I do hope I was speculating that the next clip after these two, because the first one was just a showcase of his Nimpos, right? This was Nimpo showcase, and this was the costume showcase. So I was betting money. I think I even said bet money that the next clip is gonna be Ryu's Archfiend Blade showcase. But they didn't do that. They just switched back to Yakumo. Which again, no hates. The comments were pretty hilarious. But not gonna cover that either because I feel like that's gonna enter negative thing. But yeah, I'm gonna end it because I think I've been going off like shit. Hey, you know what? Watch this again. Would you feel okay dying to that in 4? Something like that kills you in 4? You wouldn't like it. You will laugh maybe the first time, but if it happens more than twice, you're gonna be like, dude, calm the fuck. You're gonna be upset. It's gonna take the fun away. When you get overpowered, that's one thing. When you get cheated, that don't feel good. That do not feel good at all. No, sir. Same here. Is like physically, you're just incapable of reacting to this because you can't see it. You can't react to something you're not seeing when it's rotating around you. And I say that I do that in Monster Hunter when I just turn my camera around and parry the monster just because I want to flex. But still, I'm listening to audio. That's an audio thing. I'm timing the audio based on the attack because I played so much. There's no audio in this. He's just spinning. There's no visual, audio, taste. There's nothing. Like, can't do anything here. That's it, right? So getting cheated like this is not fun. And these are the points I want to make. There's so many more clips, boys. If I could stream my Master Ninja, I would. But one, I can't get my audio to work, and two, I don't think anybody wants to watch me retry Memoji's final fight 6,000 times because Van flew into me, or incendiary shuriken half across the stage hit the beam above my head and the active frames killed me. It's like nobody wants to watch that. So, but I will stream hard mode. I'm gonna do it later today, maybe, or maybe I'll do Zen update drop. But anyways, I guess have a good day. Sorry you had to listen to me ramble about how much I fucking hate the bosses in Ninja Gaiden. There's like a total of 3 bosses that are enjoyable in this. Genshin is not one of them, unfortunately. Orbis, Wolf. Wolf is my probably the most entertaining boss in this franchise because he's actually fair. You can dodge his attacks properly. You can uh, attack him. You can actually hit the guy most of the time. Genshin's boring. Legion, I do like the Legion. In 3, I think He would be a tremendous fight if you could juggle him, but sadly he's glued to the ground because he has gravity boots. So you just have to dodge, attack, dodge, attack, dodge, attack, which makes it really boring. But at least it's fair. Did I just unlock a trophy on stream? This is PS4 footage. Jesus Christ, that's disgusting. Anyways, have a good day. Next video is gonna be much more positive. I'm not gonna cover any more negatives, but the bosses in Ninja Gaiden needed to get addressed. They need to improve. We can't be having shit like this, man. We can't be having shit like this in 2025, October of 2025. We can't have stuff like this, man. That cannot exist. I'm gonna dislike this video because I hate seeing it. We can't have stuff. We cannot have stuff like that, man. So, you guys have a wonderful time. I think they're gonna upload another video in 2 days. Actually, no, that one was 2 days ago, so there should be one tomorrow because they didn't post one today. So yeah, whatever that is, I'll cover it instantly, unless it's on Sundays. On Sundays, it's daughter time, so that's that. But yeah, have a good day. Enjoy your life. Enjoy everything besides the boss fights in this. And again, as always, if you're on social media talking about stuff with the developers, be nice about it. It's always a better feedback if you're nice about something. Don't sound like me when I'm talking about the bosses. Nobody wants to hear that shit. But anyways, take care, fellas. See you later.